Oh mate, your car's a joke.
Yes, it is.
You know that Rover is over.
Oh yeah, but they're still about, aren't they?
How many egg gaskets you gone through this week, eh?
Excellent joke, mate. I'm going to nip in because it's raining.
Let's face it, you can't drive a Rover and not have a sense of humour. There's too many people that just think it's this awful head gasket K-series problem of a car that's going to go wrong every time you get into it. And of course, we know that's not really true. Obviously, you know, K-series engines do have a problem, but they can be fixed, and they can be fixed well. This video is all about my car, called Project Nigel. Now the name Nigel come about because I always thought Nigel's a good underdog name, and Rovers are, let's face it, underdogs. So Project Nigel, because it is a project. As you can see, it's got some rather unusual panels on it. And this is the first Rover 425 as well. The black door on there, not an accident. I put a Streetwise panel on there because of their fit, and because it's not a Streetwise, I wanted to make that clear. Odd mirror there, bumper that, you know, is obviously from a different car. And then these inserts here, they did have fog lamps, as copper leaf red and Mediterranean blue on that one. And then my bonnet is stained where the lacquer's come off, where I happened to just put some red polish on it. The idea for this came about when one morning I came down and found that some lovely person had kicked off my passenger side door mirror, and I didn't have a gold one, but I did have a blue one, and I put that on there. And then I got thinking about how it would look kind of different with just different coloured panels all over, and it'd also make it quite amusing. So the car looks like a banger, but in actual fact it's a very good little car. I've done an awful lot of mileage in this, and it's never ever given me a problem. I'm sure that's the way it's going to continue, and I will be keeping this car and doing many other alterations to it. This interior, for example, is this half leather interior actually came out of a 5-door model, so the seats didn't fold forward, but the old seats in this car has really bad cushions, and they've gone all crumbly around the bolster, and you could feel metal in your back. So I dismantled the seats and made these folding seats, and I believe they're the only ones of their kind. It does have a few of the usual luxuries, like a monkey on the dashboard and the clock not actually working, so that's, you know, a project for the future. Yeah, a clock, I mean, they are quite difficult to get hold of now. And the engine management light has come on. That's fairly recent, and I'm not sure what's caused that just yet. But look at this, really pleased with this. Watch. Well, listen, look, on 1, 2, 3 and 4 as well. That works, and that's fairly unusual. So now I'm going to tell you the story on how I came across this car and why I've decided to keep it. One evening, after a rather unusual situation, I ended up going down to my yard and having a look on Gumtree, and I never look on Gumtree because I think it's awful, but there was this rather unloved looking 25 in granny yellow and being offered as scrap basically, and somebody was offering £100, so I offered £110 and the deal was done. So off I went to Stockport or Altrincham or wherever it was, I can't really remember, and the young man there said, "Oh, I've just put £20 in this, could I have that back as well?" And I said no, and the deal was done on exactly that, £110. I paid £110, got it back to the yard, where I discovered it still had 1 month's MOT left on it. So I put it on my insurance, I taxed it, and I drove it around. And I was absolutely shocked, really. The car drove like a new car. I really wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting it to be awful. So I used it all month and then MOT'd it, and it passed without a single advisory. So I carried on using it, and I clocked up in all about 3,500 miles with no troubles at all, no oil leaks, no coolant leaks, never once give up on me. And then I sold it. And then a year later, I bought it back when the young man I sold it to and realised it had run out of MOT, and I sold it again. And then I bought it back after the neighbour that I sold it to said, oh, it just wants scrapping because it keeps breaking down. Well, not really. I mean, if you're going to leave your boot open all night, you're going to get an issue where the battery goes flat. And the alternator had gone at this point, and she had somebody else fit another alternator, a second-hand alternator, and it wasn't working. I took it off, and the bearings were that worn out, you could hear it grinding away like, oh gosh, I won't give an example, I don't think. Anyway, they hadn't done a very good job of fitting it either, because they rounded off the tensioner bolt, and I had to take off all of the engine mounts just to take it off. Fit another one, and I've been driving it around now for, what, 1,500 miles. It's been absolutely spot on. And here's the thing, after all this time, it still drives absolutely spot on. And it just makes me happy. It makes me happy to drive a car that's less than nothing in my pocket. It always be less than nothing at all. And you know, the way it drives, it's just, I just love the thing. I've got to just keep on talking about it all the time.